Oh, another night is here, so I'm happening again. Something interesting that I saw and sort of like just briefly, like the alien stuff. Christian had there's not a lot going on. Like there's like another group, a conference or something of people who have accumulated so many millions of dollars to supposedly influence disclosure or something, and they're wondering, is David Grush going to be a part of this, or what I mean? It's the same people as that are involved in all the rest of the ufology stuff. So so just not a lot's happening, and I haven't had a chance to watch Steve's stuff on how to hunt yet, but I'll be listening to that and the Christian Harloff stuff again tonight while I'm working. But the what I just managed to watch a little bit of also is the there was this the guy that's in charge of AI or something like that, that's related to AI at Meta in Facebook. Some old European looking guy. Or he's got like a European sounding name anyway. Anyway, he works for Zuckerberg on Meta, and his job is related to AI or whatever. And he says that people shouldn't be speaking or like even like talking about AGI. He's like, and they shouldn't be comparing it. I sort of agree with this in a way, but he's like, people should not be talking about AGI and all this stuff, and they certainly shouldn't be comparing it to human intelligence, because human intelligence is so specialized. And I mean, of course that makes sense, right? Like, it doesn't matter what your job is or who you are or whatever, your whole thing is based on the human system that we've created throughout the years and built up to today, and like the whole thing is based on your specialization of, like, you have to know what's going on and what, like, and the way you learn and all that. And that's just all of our lives. So I sort of like see what he means, but they said that this sort of caused some pushback because people were like, AGI, blah, blah, whatever. But again, this sort of makes me think about like the NHI story, the AI story, the AI thing being a part of that, and non-human intelligence being a wide spectrum of things. And I think that what it seems to be is that intelligence seems to be sort of scalable to a certain point, which makes it like the consciousness part still, I guess, like a mystery. But it seems to be like, we want you to process like a credit card or debit card transactions or whatever, and just do that all the time as they roll in, or whatever it is. Like, it's from that to ChatGPT to all these models and all this stuff. Like, the more they put into it, the more it seems to be like capable of, I guess. But like, it does sort of seem weird to to be like, yeah, this AI stuff is gonna have a lot to, I guess, like, I would think, like, if to think that we as people, right, could like to have that comparison of like, will AGI, like I think in many ways all of this is about, like, AI seems to be a lot of, you break all the problems down into micro steps, and then the AI can do it, right? And that's sort of like the opposite of how a person does stuff. Because, like, we're not, like, our eyes that we use to, like, see and look around and stuff, and, like, we use to do whatever we do at work or home or whatever, you know, walk the dog, whatever. Like, we don't work like that at all, right? Like, our brain's like filling in the gaps and we don't even know it just to make it all stable, right? But with AI, it seems like it doesn't take very much intelligence if you can break everything down to a micro step scale and then write one line of AI code or whatever it is that they do. And just like, okay, do all these steps and accomplish this task as it happens all over the earth 10 trillion times, on and on and on. You know what I mean? Or like what ChatGPT is ChatGPT is like they say is like a predictive thing, and it's just trying to, you know, put the next most likely word or something as how it figures out how to communicate or whatever it is. And it's like, I think that one thing we're going to run into is that it seems like AI does that to everything, and then it seems like we have to do that to, like, we have to feed it this compute, all this energy to, like, so it can get through all the micro steps of everything. But it's like, I think that they're gonna find, like, there's going to be a tendency for this stuff to never reach certain heights, unless maybe I'm totally wrong, but it's like, if you can break everything down into the smallest steps and just accomplish everything that way, none of that is, nothing in our world, nothing in our system, nothing in all of humankind that we've been able to create, right? None of it is going to come down, is going to be detailed in, like, complex enough to, like, make AI not be able to, like, break it down into 1,000 steps and just accomplish the goal. And like, that, to go beyond that is going to be, seems to me, going to be sort of difficult. Because, like, you know, Big Blue here making this store work and all this stuff, like, this wouldn't be, like, if this store belonged to an AI, let's say, and the AI was in charge of all, and it was filled with robots, and it only robots worked here, and the whole thing was self-contained, right? And the AI oversaw every single detail, every single moment, every single day, every single month, or week and month, year, the entire time. And this place is just popping out, generating product and distributing it, right? Nothing about that, if you break it all down into the tiniest micro steps, nothing about that is going to require a level of intelligence that's like a new life form. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to say, is like, none of that is complex enough. If you can break all of that down, running all that down to the square inch, all the robots know exactly how many steps, you know, like, and all the things, like, none of that is big enough of scale or whatever else to, like, reach a level of complexity in the intelligence it would take to do that, like, is going to qualify to be like a new life form to me. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, it seems like it's going to be hard to make, harder than we think or have been able to see, to make that jump. Which is why I guess, like, they say they ain't gonna need so much data and they have to give it so much compute and so much power and all the rest. Like, it's because of all the information that it takes to generate these intelligence effects. But, like, it seems like that's not gonna qualify anything for a new life form of consciousness or new life form of any. It's just gonna be like, this is our system, we made it work by itself. You know, like, I mean, like, in a way, this is already being done before, like, AI was ever as prevalent or as impactful or as talked about, right? The internet accomplished all this not even using AI, but using human-generated algorithm code. They talk about it all the time, how the algorithm knows you better than you. The algorithm can tell, like, it will know, like, you know, you're pregnant, like, before you do, like, on and on and on and on and on. None of those algorithms, all those algorithms are just fed data about you personally, based on all the interactions it has with you or whatever. Like, but that algorithm ain't, that's just an enclosed system. That's not some AI life form. So, I don't know, long story short, I don't think that, like, it's gonna be near as cut and dry as all these folks that are leading the way with the AI, like, what they I don't think it's gonna be, like, maybe, right? Okay, maybe with all the money and attention and all the stuff, it'll go so fast and exponentiate so fast that, like, just its ability to take on new systems and all that will be, like, almost, or whatever, is exponential enough to, like, you know, deal with the world or whatever. But I, like, another thing that sort of makes me feel like it's not going to end up being as cut and dry as all these intelligence, you know, engineers and OpenAI and Meta and all these cats seem to act like it's going to be, is, like, two things. You know, those two games, AlphaGo and chess is the other one. And how they made an AI in both cases that ended up, like, beating the just mess out of the best person, right? Just absolutely just beat him. And but that sort of had already been done before with Kasparov as far as chess is concerned, because he had been beaten by the DeepMind or whatever it was called, and they used brute force computation to, like, beat him, right? Like that was what that system used. But then like the stuff DeepMind and the AlphaGo stuff with chess and AlphaGo now is an AI version of beating a person. But my point is that like the AI always beats a person now, right? It beats the tar out of them. But what sort of seems like intelligence isn't just as cut and dry as these intelligence economy people seem to act like it is a person and an AI. So like the AI and the person versus the AI, the person AI always wins. Like and it's people have played this AI and they say, like they've said before, like it plays so different than we do, and all this kind of stuff in AlphaGo, and it's just like it seems like intelligence sort of just isn't as straightforward as you would think it would be, right? Like you can beat this creative system, this AI system, with a person involved and another AI system like that. It seems like you can combine intelligences and like you would think that like just the AI system would sort of like be able to sort of like both sides would sort of nullify, right? Like I don't know anything about AlphaGo or chess, but I would just think like it would sort of just like the game itself would sort of break down. You know what I mean? Because every move would be a counter. Every move would nullify your move. Every move would do, you know, and it would just be around and around and around and around again. You know what I mean? It would be no winner in each case, but the people plus the AI can beat an AI. And it just doesn't seem like intelligence should work like that, but apparently it does. And so like I think that that's gonna be a development that sort of fits right in with the NHI story, because I'll tell you what, like the how to hunt stuff with Steve. These Sasquatch, right, are alleged to like have super strength, super speed, telepathic powers, mental, I don't even know what to call that, like telepathic powers, psychoactive powers or whatever, that can control I don't know, like wormhole portals? Like, what do you call that? I guess, like wormhole portals. So, we're talking about something who, like, people always say, this is one of the patterns, you know, that pops out. Like, people constantly say that, like, these Bigfoot, these Sasquatch, Sabe entity beings, forest beings, they have this chatter that they do with each other, and they all describe it as sounding like if you did not understand Japanese and you heard some Japanese samurai, they always say like samurai language being spoken near you, right? I mean, I really don't know what that means, but like I guess it means like there's a, it seems like a language, so you can tell it's a language to them, but you don't know, like, I don't, and it has a certain, like, style to it. I don't know, but it sounds Asian when you don't know how to speak any of Asian language. And they have, like, so however you interpret that is if they do have a language or they don't have a language or whatever, they obviously don't, they don't use any of that at all to talk to you, which is interesting in its own. How do they know you well enough to be able to do that in your brain? But whatever. But like, they don't use their words, they use their minds for the speaking, right? And their only like verbalness is this chatter stuff. But then if allegedly they can have all this like mental control over interdimensionality and using these portals to get into places and get away from places, and where, like I've said before, Steve's constantly asking, like, seems like this is a good one in a case where it's like, where were you just now before that happened? Where were you before you got here? Because you seem to not understand why or how or where you are. So, you know what I mean? And so, like, you have a 15-foot, 900-pound being that has all this obvious capability and understanding and all this physical capability and ability and all of it. It is so intelligent that they can, like, associate it with, like, interdimensional portals that take them from A to B and all the rest. Like, you'd think that would be from a quantum level, like, AI deep thing system. But these are, like, creatures that live deep in the woods, living on the earth and stuff, that like basic, like first ever tried life, like, yet they're associated with these literal powers. That seems to be a form of intelligence that's not scaling. You know what I mean? Like, scaling just straightforwardly, right? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's interesting. It's just interesting. But that's what the, you know, the stuff made me think about as far as like the AI and the aliens and the Bigfoot Sasquatch stuff and all that. His intelligence is not a straight line. Seems to be. There's lots of different levels of what we're calling intelligence. Anyway, God bless y'all. Hope y'all sleep well. God help us get through the rest of this week. Alright. Night, y'all.